Hi everyone. My name is Judah. I use they/them pronouns. My usual co-host Chris is not here today because Z had a prior engagement. Excuse me, don't know what happened there. I'm here with everyone else on the team today. Today we will be interviewing lesbians for Lesbian Visibility Week. Week.
Love it.
We're taking the whole
Thank
I also
you.
didn't know that was the whole week. I thought it was just a day.
Nah.
I thought it was just a day too. I didn't know it was a whole
We're
week.
in Crux lesbian privilege for real.
Make it the whole year. Alright. Everyone, let's introduce each other this way down.
Yes.
It's Lily.
Yay! I'm Lily. I use any pronouns, and I will be interviewing with Judah, our cast.
It's okay, you can say our lesbians.
Our lesbians.
Our platoon.
What's a group of lesbians called?
I like platoon.
Yeah, I like that too. Splatoon.
Oh.
I like him. Anyways, hi, I'm Emma. I use they, she. Oh my god, I forgot. They, she, he pronouns.
I'm JQ. I use any pronouns.
I'm Lorelli. I use they, them pronouns.
I'm Kelly. I use she, her pronouns.
Nice.
And we're lesbian.
Sure are. So visible.
You said it like you don't believe it.
We're a little silly right now because we just restarted the episode.
Yeah, we were having some technical difficulties because the universe is weird like that. Sorry, lesbians.
It's okay.
All the lesbians listening, or
Wait.
just us?
We try again.
I guess all the lesbians who are tuning in and everyone here.
Thank you, Judah.
I think we should
On
start with the
behalf-
question we started with last time, which
That was
is,
a good one.
what is our favorite lesbian?
Yeah,
of
who's
all
your
time?
favorite
Ever.
lesbian of all
Ever.
time, ever? It could be headcanon lesbian, it could be canon
Boy.
lesbian.
Canon lesbian in real life.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's
I had
her.
canon my sister as lesbian, even though she's not.
See, my sister is a canon lesbian.
Oh, that's so exciting! And that was your favorite lesbian, right?
Yes, my sister
Yes.
is my favorite lesbian.
Indeed.
I still think that answer is pretty, endearing.
Yeah, that's,
That's
so
really
cute.
cute.
It is. It's very.
We love
cute.
Olivia.
Yeah, also she
Name
worked for the
dropping.
UCLA LGBTQ CRC for like 3 years.
Oh,
2 years.
wow.
Cool.
So like she should be your favorite lesbian too.
Literally, servicing lesbians everywhere. Go Bruins.
No,
Do you guys have any favorite lesbians?
I mean, I probably have to say my girlfriend.
Oh.
You know,
That's cute.
and I believe it in my heart of hearts.
Me.
Yeah.
Oh.
real.
Literally, self-love.
These are
Exactly.
all such heartwarming answers.
Yeah,
You could have said like, I don't know, what's a lesbian?
exactly, right?
Okay.
We're getting philosophical today. What is a
Look,
lesbian?
Will Graham is like my third favorite lesbian.
She's my second
My
favorite.
girlfriend.
Okay, true.
So true.
I guess we can start with the normal question, which is, how did you realize that you were lesbian? Was it something that you've always felt? Was it something that you had to like come to in like some, I don't know, realization?
I do feel like I always had a connection to like queerness. Like there was never a time in my life where I was like, I'm straight and I don't need to think about it more than that. Like there was always sort of a questioning going on. I feel like it took me a while to like figure out that I identify as a lesbian and that like even if I'm attracted to some man someday, like that won't mean that I wasn't a lesbian right now. Because there's like, it's so hard to prove that there are no frogs in the pond. You know? I haven't met every man. I hope never to meet every man. Too many.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, like when we were planning out the episode. Like, it can be really, really difficult to like prove something negative, you know? It's like, how do you know you won't ever be attracted to a man? And I feel like you can. Like, I feel like that's how I feel, but it took a long time to get there because it's always like, well, what if it could just happen, you know? But I don't think it will.
Just for the record.
I'm sorry, man.
Sorry to all men.
Sorry
Like
to
you.
all men.
No, that's fair. I think a lot of people think that identity is something that's stagnant and can never change. For some people, it doesn't change. For others, it does change, and that should be accepted a little bit more.
I found out that I liked girls at summer camp, which is just classic.
Classic.
I had a crush on my
Of course.
camp counselor, no
Oh,
less.
double classic.
Right? Isn't it?
Classic.
It's so classic.
I didn't go to camp, so.
I feel like it's a classic, like, oh my god, like, but she's a cheerleader. But I'm a cheerleader. Yeah, it's like that. But it, it wasn't conversion camp. It was just YMCA.
Thank goodness.
Oh my gosh. But even before that, like, what Jakey was saying made me think of this, but even before that, I feel like my crushes on boys in, like, elementary school were very, like, staged and very much, like, just kind of, like, I remember this one particular time, like, in elementary school, how they would put up, like, the kids would draw, like, shitty pictures, because that's what kids do in school, and then they, like, put them up on the wall. I remember I looked at my grades, like, distribution of, like, bad pictures, and I picked one, and I was like, yeah, that's the one that I'm gonna have a crush on. It's just like, what? That's not how it works. I would say that I only discovered that I was a lesbian and not bi or pan quite recently. I think it came along with me discovering that I was non-binary. I just didn't really, this is obviously not how it is for everyone, but I just didn't really see myself being with, especially, like, a straight man with that identity. It just didn't, like, seem to work out. And that's also maybe because, like, my boyfriend that I had before that was kind of, like, it was just a very, like, the vibes were very much, like, straight cisgender relationship. And that was, like, the only relationship that I had with the guy. So, again, hard to prove a negative, but it just doesn't seem like the right option for me.
Very cool. The camp
Very
counselor
cool.
thing is, like,
So
so true.
It really is.
So I feel like something even more classic than camp counselor is being in love with your best friend.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
the most classic
Yep.
ever, I think. So stereotypical. But I feel like that was my first sign, is when I was, like, in love with my best friend in middle school. And then I kind of didn't even think very much of it. I have a kind of funny story where I was in mock trial and we were doing a very unfortunate, like, theater game, which is horrible for me because I'm an introvert who hates theater. And it was the kind of thing where you have to, one person in the middle of the circle has to make someone laugh to get out of the middle of the circle.
Oh, God.
This is torture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's just,
So
like,
there was
performance
this
anxiety.
really cute girl in the year above me who was, like, a theater kid, so she was good at it. And I was, like, trying to avoid eye contact so she wouldn't choose me to, like, make laugh. And she must have, like, seen straight into my soul or something, because she went right up to me and literally sat in my lap. And I freaked the fuck out and definitely laughed. And I was, like, straight up panicking. It was, like, insane. And then I was in the middle of the circle because I laughed, and my face was, like, beet red. And I was panicking so much that I couldn't make anyone laugh, and we had to cancel the game. And then I was like, maybe it wasn't just this one person. Maybe there's something going on here.
Also, that's like, I'm so sorry to your younger self.
It was mortifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a fan fiction moment.
It was. I mean, it's not like I literally never talked to her again after that.
No.
Not because I was ignoring her, but, like, she was, like, older than me and didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's
So, Jasmine, if you're out there.
Name drop.
Name drop, I know.
Literally, no one's gonna know her. No one
Yeah,
knows who
yeah.
this is.
There's so many people named Jasmine.
No,
And then she, like,
nobody knows who
stumbles
this
upon
is.
the podcast.
I know.
That
Can
would
you imagine?
Is
Completely
that
insane.
Kelly?
No, she literally does not know who I am.
Maybe it was a moment for her too.
No!
Yeah.
Bruh. And then I was like, I think I'm good.
That's wonderful. I love
Yeah.
that moment for you.
And then looking back, there's all kinds of things, like camp counselors I was obsessed with.
Yeah.
There was, like, this one who, like, had short hair, and I was just like,
love that.
like, following her around like a puppy.
Oh.
But I didn't think anything of it back then. I was just like, wow, this person's so cool. She was also in mock trial.
Oh.
Damn.
I know, a crossover between summer camp and mock trial. Megan, if you're out there.
Ellie, Jesus.
Nobody knows who these people are.
No,
Nobody knows who these people are.
You're so bold for that, Kelly. So bold.
We have 37 followers.
You're so bold.
I know they're not one
Don't
of
we
them.
have more because of
But
that?
more people watch
used to
us
have
than
29,
subscribe to
now
us.
we-
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
They could be checking up
Well,
on you.
Yeah.
If they're checking up on me, I want them to know.
True.
No, Megan will not be checking up. I know it for a fact.
You never know.
Good job.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
I'm pretty sure she's married now.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Never mind.
Married to you.
Oh.
That's how it works.
Let's move on to someone else.
Hello, Mistress Arc.
You can be married.
Really? Did you say Mistress Arc?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? You're young. I have like a really long answer to that.
Take as long as you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So I came out as like liking women when I was like 8, to myself, and I just kind of assumed I also liked men because I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, of course I do. Like, I have to. And then I dated all of my friends in middle school. Like we dated, but we weren't really dating, you know. And then I got my first real girlfriend, and I was like really like, it was weird because like it wasn't a good relationship. We were like 14, so it was not good. But it's never good.
No.
Yeah, facts.
That age.
We met in group therapy.
Oh.
So you can imagine. You can imagine
Group therapy.
what kind of relationship it was. I
Yeah.
dated 2 people from group therapy.
Oh, wow.
Wait, were they in the same group?
No, they're
Okay.
different
Okay.
groups.
The same
So scandalous.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Wow.
Go on.
Continue.
Yes. And yeah, so like we had issues, but I was also really happy and really comfortable. And then I kind of freaked out because I was like, I'm really happy. And what if I just like continue doing this? You know, like what if I just keep dating this specific person, or I just keep dating like women in general? But I never gave men a chance because I had never dated a man before. So we broke up, not because of that, like specifically, but like I kind of took like the first opportunity to break up. So sorry, Amanda. Love you.
Wow, we're going for it.
I know the
today.
main topic on this episode is heavy.
Yeah, for
Crazy.
real.
Yeah, and then I started dating this guy named.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then I just like kept dating men. Kind of like I was kind of like a serial monogamist, so I would just like date a lot of men. Like not this is horrible.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you so much. I just like dated men like back to back kind of for like years. And then I never really thought about it until the pandemic, because then I was alone and I wasn't dating anybody because like, why would I be doing that? And it was like the first time when I like really stepped back and was like, do I actually like these people? Like for real? Like, am I being honest about that? And yeah, I just kind of like thought about that for a long time, and it was really weird because I saw like my previous relationships and I just felt so weird about it. I felt like I never really knew what being in a relationship was actually supposed to be like, because I had always just kind of like been going through the motions. And yeah, and then like, so after like things started opening up again and I felt kind of like safe to get to know people more, I started like interacting with women romantically again. And I felt like so much more comfortable with that. And that's when I kind of started like claiming that identity more, I guess. Very cool.
The pandemic.
Yeah.
The pandemic.
The pandemic.
COVID made me
and
gay.
Time for
interesting.
discovery.
For so many people.
Sounds like a Republican in my side.
I got the vaccine and things changed.
The chemicals in the water.
Oh
Yes.
gosh.
Trying to
The
throw it back.
asbestos in my apartment.
Oh.
What?
Hold on. I mean, mold is one thing. Asbestos.
Mold made me gay.
There are
The
people,
mold.
but there are people out there who believe that like the asbestos thing is like one huge lie, and like it was.
The
What,
asbestos
asbestos
thing,
in
like the
general?
fact that it.
Yes, they
Kills you?
believe. Yeah, they believe that that's not true.
A lie benefiting who?
I don't know.
Wait.
There are some people who
The
believe that.
asbestos manufacturers of a.
Yeah.
Who manufactures asbestos?
I mean, the ground.
Lesbians.
Lesbian. Mother Nature's a lesbian. That's my headcanon.
So true.
That's just canon.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, true. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I talked to
The
her.
authority.
I like some of these questions
My
on
fourth
here
favorite
so much.
lesbian.
Sorry, I'm like looking them over. One of them is like,
Give me
why?
a question.
Why do lesbians love dangly earrings so much?
Because
I
we
have
have incredible taste.
It's an important question.
What would you say is
I
lesbian
know.
culture specifically?
Sad.
Dangly earrings.
I do
They're
love some dangly
cool.
earrings. Yeah, they're cool.
They're
go
fun.
go elaborate.
And they're, I don't know, they're like, I think it's a little bit like the whole femme thing, where it's kind of a girly thing to have, like, even earrings in general, or, like, long earrings. But, kind of making it, like, it's like a little twist on, like, the classic feminine thing to have, like, silly earrings, like a rubber frog or something, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, something maybe an average straight girl wouldn't wear,
right.
you know? It's like a little twist.
I will say, I feel like jacket pins fulfill exactly the
Oh,
same function
yeah.
as earrings.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped wearing earrings as much, and the amount of pins on my jacket just, like, exploded.
It just happens
Yeah.
spontaneously.
I like both of those things, so I don't know what that says
Right?
about me.
Lesbians love. Well, you're bi. So
That is true.
You know,
yeah,
I
it's the
am
same
bi.
thing.
Literally.
No, I mean it's the same thing.
It's the same
earrings.
One exception.
Editors, no, we're not saying that bi people are the same as lesbians.
Kelly, you're racist by people.
The woman loving
Race is all
is the
bi.
Chris said not to get canceled this episode.
She
Just
just can't
one
help
episode
it.
and we get canceled.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not trying to get canceled.
You're good. You're good. I just
I
thought it was
like
funny.
controversial today. Names.
Literally, I had coffee before this.
Oh no.
Oh,
I need
no.
coffee.
Coffee.
I need
Oh,
coffee so
so
yeah.
bad.
I needed so bad. I was in pub app and the vending machine wasn't working, so
No.
I didn't get my coffee, and I was like, no.
Very sad.
No, but
Why do
that's-
lesbians like iced coffee?
Isn't
I
that
had
a
iced
general?
coffee today.
I know it's like a general thing.
It's,
I
it's
also
a general
had
gay
iced coffee
thing.
today.
Yeah.
Was it a latte?
No, it was drip
Okay.
coffee with creamer.
Ooh.
Drip coffee? Okay,
That's
I
good, that's
actually
good.
like the iced coffee at Music Cafe. I think it kind of
Yes.
bangs.
Yes.
It's very good. Right?
Yeah.
It's good. I
My
love
favorite
Music
had that
Cafe.
coffee
In a while.
is from like Jimmy's at Louvel.
Oh,
really
interesting.
Yeah.
I used to work at Laval, and it was fine,
I'm
but I didn't
sorry.
like it.
In this
fine, we're
episode,
good.
we're getting into OSHA violations.
No, there's just no air conditioning. There's like only fans,
Yeah,
so it
it's
gets
so
hot
hot
as
in
shit in there.
Yeah.
It's fine though. It
If
was-
you're
it
a
was perfectly
lesbian,
fine.
join your local union.
True.
Lesbians love unions.
Lesbians
Yeah,
do love
Anyways.
unions.
So true.
Lesbian culture. Also non-lesbian culture.
Yeah,
True.
everyone culture.
Join a union if you're anybody.
Yeah.
True.
True.
What do you love about being lesbian? Like, what's your favorite thing?
Is this the one I said?
Somebody
You're
said I
so
really want to
excited
talk
about
about
it.
this.
Yeah.
That was me.
Oh, like literally,
Yeah,
Asian.
talking.
That was me.
Get talking.
I wrote hee hee next to it.
Marker.
Outing myself as a hee hee writer.
I do that too though. I'm pretty sure I said it in the outright slog at some point.
You did. Thank
I
you.
added. I added the colon 3 behind
I love
the
the
key
I
colon
love
three.
because it's
So
so
good.
good. Okay, sorry. Back to the
Okay.
question.
I don't want to like go off on this too much, but I feel like part of why I love being a lesbian is because I just love other lesbians so much. Like, not to like, because you can't, obviously it's such a huge group of people, like everyone's different, you can't generalize, but I really love how these people, like, play with gender presentation and, like, subvert femininity, and generally are just, like, extremely cool people. I just feel like all lesbians are very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's so
like,
true.
I just love them so much. Like they're so interesting. I love how they wear like chunky boots and like cool jackets and pins and stuff. And I feel like a lot of lesbians really care about like social justice and stuff, like more than like typical cishet world, you know. And I feel like because we're like in a little like community where we kind of have like shared experiences and stuff, it's like I feel like, I mean, like the queer community as a whole, but also lesbians, like it's like such like a great little like community where we support each other. And lesbians are also really hot. I feel that for us.
That's
Nice.
true.
They are.
love
I
that
agree.
for us. Yeah.
I agree.
That's my
Totally
spiel.
Yeah, I love that spiel. That was very wholesome.
Your recruitment
So
statement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if you
Become
like
lesbian
those
today.
things, consider
You're a
joining
lesbian
us.
now.
Yeah, literally.
Create a little poster.
Yeah.
One thing I love about, well, being a lesbian is the closets. They match up. If you're
Oh,
dating
yeah.
someone that is like roughly the same size and style of you, it's like a whole new thing. It's great. I'm wearing my girlfriend's jacket right now because I was cold and she's gay, so she had to give me her jacket. And I'm actually quite warm right now, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's hot.
Proving a point. And also the thing about playing with gender identity or gender
Yeah.
expression, I think that's so fun. But like,
It's awesome.
I love like the way that lesbians express femininity is very distinct from like the whole hyper femme thing is like such a neat way of doing gender expression because it's not like the same way that cisgender women express femininity. And I think that's like so interesting to like see the differences between the way lesbians and cisgender women will like express their femininity, and they're both great. And I think it's cool that they're super like distinct like that.
Yeah, it's so good. I love
Yeah.
it. Number one fan.
Number one victory royale.
Maybe
Yeah.
not number one.
No.
Oh, Dick, you have some feelings about that.
About number
One
one
royale.
Royale.
That
Yeah, I
was
do.
Gonna get into Fortnite?
Fortnite. That's lesbian culture.
No, it isn't.
What do you think? Valorant instead? I don't play either.
Also,
That's
no.
Some debate in the lesbian fandom.
About which terrible game is. Sorry, not to be a hater.
Oh, I don't play either of those
I'm
games.
such a hater on Maine all the time.
I'm an Overwatch hater.
Hey!
Oh, uh-oh.
Wait, were
No,
we
we'll
just talking about Overwatch?
No!
No,
You just like
you're
decided to
right.
attack me for no reason.
Wait, you play Overwatch?
Yes, I am an Overwatch player. I used to be
I
really
meant
into
Fortnite.
Overwatch League.
I will say,
meant Fortnite.
Overwatch.
My Overwatch!
Overwatch is more respectable because there's
You just
lore,
have something
and the
against
lore
me.
seems fun. I don't care about the gameplay, but I like that they added lore to the shooty
Exactly!
game.
Exactly, it's so fun.
What do you call them?
I mean, that's completely valid. I've just never heard. I love that. I'm gonna start calling it shooty game, and I think my brother will like that a lot.
Shooty game. That's so funny.
Shooty bang bang.
Exactly. Similarities? They catch children.
What?
What?
And did no one ever watch Chitty Chitty Bang
I
Bang?
did.
Oh,
but I
That's
don't
the
no.
child catcher.
Oh,
He's
okay,
terrifying.
Okay, I see.
Oh, I don't remember
He
that.
catches children.
Wait, what are you talking
Don't
about?
catch
Wait,
children.
I gotta look this up.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
We're getting off topic.
Not a song
Why
by
aren't you
Pink.
guys supposed to like guard us from being off topic?
Wait, I just got
looking up Chitty
It's a
Bang Bang on their
movie.
laptop right now.
Chitty Chitty
And a
Bang
Roald
Bang
Dahl.
is a
Yeah, Roald Dahl
1968
did, like, a
musical
screenplay or
fantasy
something.
film directed by Ken
He was.
Hughes with a screenplay co-written by Roald Dahl, and he was loosely based on Ian Fleming's novel Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Ian
The Magical
Fleming.
Car.
Yeah.
The
Ian
film
Fleming.
stars
Ian
Dick
Roald
Van
Dahl?
Dyke,
No, the
Sally...
book
Dick
it's
Van
based
Dyke?
on is by Ian
This is
Fleming.
wild. Okay. All these British people.
Yeah.
These British people.
I'm
I
trying
think
to
they're confusing
see...
this movie with like the lion, the witch.
Okay, they're different.
Narnia!
They're,
No, sorry. I didn't mean that. I meant bedknobs and
What?
broomsticks.
This is...
You meant
Wikipedia
what?
has a
All
really long
three
plot
completely
description.
different
I'm just trying to find a few words.
I'm sorry. Never mind.
Oh,
Bedknobs and
there's a hidden meeting behind
With the
Chitty Chitty
lion?
Bang Bang. That's crazy.
Everyone's always like, there's a hidden meaning behind this media, and I feel like a lot of the time there isn't.
Damn.
It says military slang does get lewd. In the British Army, chitty bang bang apparently came to refer to the permission slip that soldiers needed to leave the barracks to visit local brothels.
Damn. True.
Chitty chitty bang bang sounds like a euphemism. It does.
Alright, back on track. Back to
I can't do
Wait,
it.
what do you love about being a lesbian?
Sorry, what? Carly's distracting me.
What do you, any
Okay.
more comments about what we love
Okay.
being lesbians?
Okay, go on.
Okay, I do have a comment actually. I think that before I feel like my appearance, I wasn't like catering to men on purpose, but I was kind of coming at it just from that perspective because that's kind of the perspective that you're socialized to come at it from. And so like my makeup was always very like neutral and like appealing to men in some way. And then shortly after I like came out to myself like a couple years ago, I stopped wearing as much makeup and I kind of like really moved away from femininity in general because it always felt like it was about men. But as I've like kind of been in that identity more and like more publicly, I feel like I've been able to like play with things that I used to love, like makeup or wearing dresses, wearing earrings, or wearing like a lot of jewelry. I wear too much jewelry. But
Yeah, for real.
Literally, it's a
Yes.
sleigh.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like that feels so much more authentic to me, and I don't think I would have gotten there if I hadn't like really started identifying with being a lesbian.
That's such a good point. Like, I love not dressing for men.
I love not dressing for
It's
men.
so much fun. There's so many things you can do.
I
Yeah.
was so like for like my high school grad photos, my mom made me put on makeup, and I was like miserable about it.
Oh,
and I
same.
never have to.
Tomato.
I never have to do that.
Yeah.
My mom made me, like, she made me let her do my makeup, and it was like,
I
It was so weird.
agree with the makeup thing. Makeup is such a pain to put on and then to take off. It feels like you can never take it off and it's there on your face for like days. Especially mascara.
Actually, not to keep breaking up my sister, but she's like much more feminine than I am. So it's so funny because I feel like my mom was expecting us to be like the same sort of gay, but so then it's like
genre.
she does like the femininity in a clearly like lesbian way, and I'm out here like if I have to put concealer on my face, I will go hide in the bathroom so I don't have to.
Perfect.
wow,
Really?
she's collecting all the different types.
Yep.
Yeah.
The two types of lesbian.
Yeah.
There's only two.
Yep.
Oh, reducing it just to butch and femme.
We're creating a new binary.
Getting
Oh,
canceled.
my God.
We're just getting
We're
canceled.
recreating an old binary. Let's be clear.
That's actually very true.
I think they should make a chart of lesbians, like the neutral chart.
Like the
Yeah.
D&D.
Yeah,
like
like
the
the
D&D
chart,
chart.
yeah.
Did you see all the ones they posted
Waffle
in the
butch.
Slack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only good one I could find was from like 2010, and it was kind of cringe, but also good. Did you see that one?
I think I did.
I did.
I have to look.
We should make a new one. Outright
should.
lesbian alignment chart.
That should be our thumbnail for this episode.
The lesbian
No,
No,
alignment
that'll be
chart.
my next pitch to, like, what's it called? Standalone graphic.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I love it.
Nice.
A little Trello.
I like how we forgot what we called those. So fun, and I'm part of the editorial team. So
I don't make them.
Next frame.
I've
Kelly's
never
just
made-
gone.
I've never made a standalone graphic before.
I feel like a reoccurring theme in this has been like the male gaze and like lesbianism being like a way to escape the male gaze and be like more like your authentic selves. And like I think that's something that's so interesting because it's like when you love women, it's not necessarily that you go into like a female gaze. You just enter like this authentic version of yourself because you're escaping the heterosexuality of like the patriarchy. But I also feel like that's something that a lot of women can do, even that women are attracted to men, could like learn from like the lesbian community, like that you couldn't escape the male gaze and be authentic. It's like, yeah, I just think that's so interesting. Like that's like seems to be a reoccurring theme, like being away from like making yourself palatable to men.
Yeah, that's a great point.
100%.
Because tons of people who aren't lesbians like don't dress for the male gaze, but and it's like a little bit easier because you're already like when you're a lesbian, you're already kind of shrugging off societal standards, so it's like might as well do
Well, it's
that
like
too.
I also feel like I was actively seeking to escape the male gaze. Like I really didn't like it when when men would look at me and think I was
so true.
attractive. So I would do like
Real.
everything in my power to minimize that ever happening.
Yeah.
So real.
Oh, I have something to say about that. I feel like so Lorelli mentioned that when you had a short haircut, like men suddenly stopped like being interested in you.
Yeah, no, men would like literally let doors slam in my face.
Oh,
They would
that's so
introduce
weird.
themselves to like every single person in the room except for me specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like really weird because before that, I had been like, like a decently cute person. I'm like short, I'm tiny, whatever. Sorry, that sounded horrible. Men are weird. Men are weird. So like
Taking away from today.
Stop
Men
it.
are weird.
so like going from that to like suddenly being completely invisible to them was so jarring, and it was so strange because I realized like how often men had been looking at me from that perspective of like, I guess like objectification in a way. Even like when I didn't realize it, like they wouldn't even flirt with me or anything, but it mattered to them that I was like conventionally attractive in that like traditional woman way.
There's also the flip side of that where so I mean I guess as you can see I have short hair right now. But
For all of our audio listeners.
Yes.
that little audio description. The flip side of that is I really enjoyed not being noticed by men sometimes because although sometimes people can be like rude like that, like ignoring you. On the other hand, when I had long hair, it was more often that men would be weird to me just out and about. Like, just people, like, men who are probably just, like, messing around or whatever if they're friends, but, like, just, like, walking in Westwood and some guy will be like, oh, like, hey, like, what's your number or something, like, just being weird. That's never happened to me since I got short hair.
Nice.
So, it's kind of, like, a bit of a sleigh that, that they don't care enough about me now to, like, harass me. But, so I kind of like dressing non-cute in public so people just don't talk to me. It's a little sad, though.
Yeah, no, I feel like it speaks to a lot of the patriarchal thing where it's a power system. So if you're not like, I guess if you're not seen as, not to get like weird, but like if you're not seen as like sexually valuable, then maybe there's like no value in interacting with you in that way.
That's not weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very
I don't know.
standard.
I was just like, oh my
Serious
god, I'm
point,
gonna say the
yeah.
word sex on the podcast. So I was
It's
like,
okay.
okay, just
The
like
It's a college podcast.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Wow, if
I think
only
I've,
our
like, dropped the
non-monetized
F-bomb on
YouTube
here.
channel gets demonetized.
No, I'm hoping to get
You
demonetized.
can definitely fucking say the word sex.
Yeah, we
yeah.
sure can.
We aren't currently monetized.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah.
With our 37 subscribers, we'd be making it bank.
YouTube takes the video down. You said the word sex.
It's true.
The other S word.
What's the
There's
other
more than
S?
There's a
S
couple.
words? I feel like
Shit.
there could be more.
Yeah, shit is the one that comes up to
Yeah.
mind as the other S word.
Everyone drop your favorite S word right now.
Sesquipedalia.
Silly.
There's another one that's a
Also
slur, and I don't think I can say
serendipity.
that. Oh yeah, literally.
Which one? What was your S word?
No.
No.
Sesquipedalia.
That is too big for me.
JQ moment.
Too many thoughts happening.
What the fuck? That's
Well,
too many.
let's get back to the question.
What was the question?
We
this
were
is just-
talking about the
male
male
gaze.
gaze and
Comments?
patriarchy.
But
I do think it's like really interesting too, like the fact that so many of us have experiences with men that are just like really gross. Yeah. Patriarchy, it's so fun. I love it. Oh my god. It's
It
amazing.
makes me so happy.
so much fun.
But like I have similar experiences too, like as a bi person who has dated women and men and everyone in between. Like it is more freeing, I guess, to date women just because you don't feel like you're under the same pressure as if you were like with a man. And also too, I feel like when you're dating someone who's also like woman or woman adjacent, I guess, it doesn't like the power dynamics don't feel as like off. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Like you're like on an equal like playing field.
Yeah.
I feel like with when you're dating like men, it's a lot scarier to like yeah.
Yeah, I actually have, because I dated a man. Sorry, no gold star for me. And I just felt a lot of the time when I would be like, it wasn't even that like I didn't like him, because we were friends before, and so I still enjoyed spending time around him. It was just that like I felt like very, I mean, first of all, it felt like, you know, I think the thing that was off for me, sorry, I'm trying to like collect my thoughts. The thing that felt off for me was that it wasn't a queer relationship, and that it was very much within gender roles and gender norms. And I was like, honestly, very scared about thinking about a future with him. Like, sorry if he's watching this, but I was very really name drop. I won't, because I still think he's a good person, and we're, you know, not okay. I'm not gonna say we're friends because like we don't really talk to each other anymore, but not for like. Not because we hate each other, you know. Anyways,
give us all the details.
I just felt like I need to add like 7 disclaimers to that. Anyways, I was very uncomfortable thinking about a future with this man, because I was like, I feel like in this relationship we're going to fall into gender norms, and that's like not at all what I want. And I recognize that like there's plenty of heterosexual relationships that. Or like other relationships with men that don't fall into gender norms. But I was like, it just felt like it was going to do that. And I realized probably towards the end of it, I looked back in my diary, and it was when I was dating him, and I had a journal entry that was like, man, I really want to be with a woman right now. and I was like speculating, like, why is that? And because I didn't feel that like with my last girlfriend. And then it was like, I wonder why. But I don't know. I feel like it's just like, I don't know, it's a very different feeling, and it wasn't the right one.
Yeah, no, to that point, I wasn't really like dating this man, but he was my best friend, and we were kind of dating, like we just never talked about it for like 5 or 6 years.
What? Whoa. Really? That is not what I was expecting you to say.
But definitely like towards the end, I realized that I was non-binary in like 2018, so like 3 years into this, and it was weird because I always felt like terrified to come out to him and tell him about all of these things, because I was like, then he won't view me as like a woman anymore, and like I felt like my value to him was tied to me being viewed as like a woman. And then yeah, like we stopped talking like 2021, but like for the next like 3 years I just like never brought it up. And then when I started like thinking about being like a lesbian, I was like really confused, because I genuinely felt in my heart that I loved this man so much. He was like my best friend in the world, and like I could not, like it was so hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that like I didn't actually want him to be my partner. You know, like it was hard to separate those feelings, because I'm like, but I love him a lot, but like all the other stuff just felt so off to me, and just like I felt very disconnected from it. Yeah, so I think definitely it's really hard in general when you are capable of having like those like really strong friendly feelings towards a man, like genuine care and love for them, but you can't really connect with them in that way, you know?
Wow, we're getting deep.
Yeah.
Deep on this podcast.
I think that's very relatable, because I think almost, I don't know, but 2 out of 3 of my relationships in the past have been like, fall in love with your best friend. And I think that like, I realized like a year into both times, I realized like a year into the relationship, like, oh, I just kind of want to go back to being your friend. And I think that looking back on it, I have realized that the reason why I ended up dating them and feeling what I thought were romantic feelings was because like romantic, like pursuing them romantically seemed like the next step. Like I like loved them and cared for them a lot, and I wanted to spend time around them, and I thought they were so cool. And then I thought like that meant romantic love, but I think it was really just like wow, I think you're so cool, and I want to be like even better friends with you than we are now, even though we're like best friend, like you're my best friend, you know. And I just like couldn't figure out a different way to take the relationship like up another level, I guess.
Yeah, and I think like generally we tend to prioritize romantic relationships above
Yeah.
friendships. And we know this about like the other people in our lives, so we feel like if they're just our friends, eventually there's gonna come a point where we're not gonna be as close anymore. You know, we're not gonna be hanging out all the time. They have other priorities. So you kind of feel like if I don't have this person as my partner, eventually they're not gonna be around as much anymore, you know? And like that makes me really sad. So I guess they have to be my partner now. So yeah, it's like a weird thing to like think about.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because I always hear about like compulsive heterosexuality, which is like fair, but also it's also really interesting too that you both brought up these points about not being able to take, you know, that next step with people who you thought you loved like that, or you thought you would be like romantically interested in but weren't. And yeah, too, we also really do prioritize romantic relationships as opposed to like, I don't know, just normal like friendships. I know there's like that lesbian stereotype of like U-hauling.
Oh my god.
U-hauling it.
I think that's so funny.
I think it's funny too, but it always like weird. It freaks me out a little because I could not.
No, it's so scary. That's a terrifying concept to me. It's like, whoa, it's been 6 weeks and you are living with this person. How are you not terrified?
I knew somebody who moved in with someone that they dated after like a few months, and I was like, oh,
Hey
nope,
guys.
nope.
I'm not gonna name a single name here, but one of my friends from freshman year, who I won't say. Oh my god, I'm trying to
trying
figure
so
out-
hard not to name drop.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, no, I'm not. I'm never name dropping. I'm trying to figure.
Never.
Just play it back.
I'm trying to figure out
Clip that.
how much context to give so that it makes sense, and you guys aren't like alarmed, but also. So I
Look,
guess it's okay to
this
say
is
she
such
was
an
a grad
interesting
student, so
preface.
she was like much older than us.
Right.
So she wasn't like 18 or something. But so she was a grad student, and the first person that she basically ever dated, like the first time she dated another woman, they got married in 6 months.
Whoa.
Wow.
She left LA to live with her in Oregon, and I've literally never seen her again.
Wow.
Are they still
Wow.
together?
Yeah, they seem really happy.
okay,
but it's
romance.
Like, it's like
Okay.
Well, at least they're happy.
That's
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's like lesbian U-hauling, like the
To the
success
max.
insane.
Maybe we should U-Haul more.
Maybe. Maybe.
Like they literally got married.
Yeah, shit. All right.
I'm like, okay,
Were you invited
fine,
to the
I
wedding?
guess. No.
Damn.
I mean, we weren't that close of friends.
Mm.
We were like friends through a club,
Right. Cool.
not like besties.
I'm like, straight people be kind of doing their own thing too. Because I had a
Their own
friend.
thing.
Yeah, I had a friend that started. I'm like thinking of the timeline. 2 weeks they knew them.
Oh no.
Then 1 week of dating. Then they send me a video of them making out and
What?
then an engagement ring.
What?
An engagement ring.
Ew.
They got married after like a
No.
month. They got engaged after like literally 3 weeks of knowing
No.
each
Was the
other.
making out necessary?
No,
Like,
it was
the
so
making out
gross.
video, that's-
It
why
was
would they
the
still talk to
tone.
you?
Are they
They were like,
are they
"Ah."
fundamentalist Christians?
No.
That's
Not
even
at all.
wild.
Are they
Neither
like
of them are
Mormon?
particularly religious. Neither of them are
That's
particularly
crazy.
religious.
Because all the people I know in college that have gotten married are all like Christians.
No,
Who like
right.
knew each other for like 6 months and then got married.
No, they just said like we want to be spontaneous, and then
Girl,
they're
that's
just
That's
like,
your life.
That's terrifying.
That's your
Yeah,
life. You're
they
being
got
spontaneous.
but like you
with.
can always get divorced.
You can get
Yeah, I got
This is
divorced.
expensive.
they did indeed divorce.
Damn, that's rough.
But like 3 years later, so they kept
Yeah.
it going.
Yeah,
for
and
a
then you get
while.
to be divorced. Like it's a
And
win-win.
Really?
And now
What do you
she's
mean you
like,
get to be divorced?
she's like
It's just funny to be like, I've been divorced. Like,
Age 26.
yeah.
This last question, so we can like wrap up the episode. What advice would you give to people who are coming to terms with being lesbian, or like any advice that you would give to like younger lesbians that you wish that you had when you were younger?
If you want to cut your hair off, you should just cut your hair off
Just-
instead of
oh my
spending literally multiple years having like I can't even call them intrusive thoughts. I would like daydream about cutting my hair off.
me too.
And I'd be like, oh, this is so messed up of me. This must be like when you imagine like punching your family members. Except like when I cut my hair off, it stopped.
I want to cut my
Hey,
hair.
JQ, I had that exact same thing. Like, for the last, 5 years, I was, obsessing about having short hair and, would, spend hours watching YouTube videos of people getting pixie cuts. And I was like, I want that to be me.
Oh, so cute. I will say I can't imagine you guys with long hair. Like the thought, it makes my brain twist around.
I'm so glad you didn't know me when I had
Yeah.
my
I looked more attractive in a conventional way, but way less hot.
True.
I mean, priorities.
Real.
I love that. The transition, oh my god. Let me just say, I think that queer women and also people who were socialized as female and then, were non-binary or transmasculine or something like that, cutting off their I see transition videos or sometimes, or actually one of my friends, they have long hair and it's yeah, that's a person, but then they cut their hair off and it's oh my god, gay, hot, amazing.
And
I love that transition.
Yeah.
Always 10 out of 10.
No, literally, queer people are so good at that, and I love that.
You don't have to date men just because people you love are sad that you aren't straight.
Real.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
real.
Parents who are oh, at least give men a chance, or that kind of thing. It's
Don't give men a chance.
I know, it's
Don't
there's
give them no chance.
no, if you know yourself, there's no
We're all
point.
misandrists here.
Sorry, man. There's just don't do it. Just be true to yourself and don't try to do it just because people are sad that you aren't straight.
You should be entering a relationship for yourself,
Yeah.
and not because other people would be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you didn't.
That's also just good life advice in general. You should be doing stuff for you and not because other people would be sad if you didn't do it.
You don't need to intellectualize everything. You know,
That one's real.
you don't need to think about that mythical man who's gonna show up at some point and then be oh, but I was identifying as a lesbian, so I missed him, or or then I have to come out again and then I look bad because it's it looks like a man changed me, and that's
Right.
awful. That's a bad narrative, but it's also
That's a
you're
real
not
fear.
responsible for that. You are not going to change lesbophobia. You are not the one person, So I think just that you don't have to think about it so hard.
Yeah.
Let time exist. It's okay.
That's a really good point. It's
so good.
it's okay if you change labels later. Just go with what you like right now and don't worry about if it's the number one thing that you will be for the rest of your life.
And,
It's okay.
You, a real life person, are not perpetuating a problematic narrative.
Yeah. You are just a person.
You're just a
and
person.
that is what you, and I don't know, in kind of the opposite direction, I think, it's fine if you don't have it figured out. You don't need to, if somebody, an explanation to everyone else, you don't have to keep everyone else. If you're, if you don't want to come out, you literally don't have to.
Exactly.
If you want to wait until you're, super sure that you know that this label is right for you, then, do it. It took me quite a while to actually come to terms with telling people that, first that I was a lesbian because of that whole, oh, what if I'm not, though? And then also non-binary because it was oh my god, I have to come out again. You just don't have to.
Changing my labels once every year to keep everyone on their toes.
Yeah.
Shout out lesbians.
Shout out
Lesbians.
lesbians. This has been our lesbian podcast. Thank you to all the lesbians.
Thank you to all the lesbians.
Thank you to all the lesbians
Actually,
who
that's
just
in this
true.
room and not.
I hope you're so visible this week.
wish manifesting the best for all the lesbians out there.
Exactly.
I'm also doing the outro because Chris isn't here.
Because no men are allowed on this episode.
Yeah, this is a Misandrous episode.
We actually
Yeah,
picked
Chris is
Chris out.
banned,
He did
actually.
not. Yeah, he did not have a prior engagement. We kicked him out.
Yeah, we said nope.
If you listen, you can hear him knocking.
Sometimes I can still hear the sound of his voice.
I think Chris is out.
Yeah, he was here a minute ago.
Alright, sorry. Back to the outro.
wait.
Oh!
Um,
No way!
fucking episode, you lesbians.
All right. You can.
We
That was the
almost
perfect
got to
yeah.
every
Yeah,
episode
good
without a
outro.
man.
I know. Damn. You can follow OutWrite on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at OutWrite Newsmag. That's OutWrite spelled OUTWRITE. I hate spelling. And you can check out our articles on OutWriteNewsmag.org. I've been Judah, and thank you to everyone who's been here today. And thank you for watching. And listening. Sorry, I don't know why I just said just watching. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna roll with that.
Outro
yeah.
ourselves with our names.
Oh, sure.
And I have been Lily.
I've been Emma.
I've been JQ.
I've been Lorelli.
I've been Kelly.
And this has been our lesbian
Yeah.
podcast.
No, it doesn't work.
It does. It's literally right there.
I literally, like, this hurts so much to
Yeah.
do.
No,
What's
I
wrong
agree
with your
okay?
fingers?
They don't work like
You're
that.
not a real lesbian if your fingers don't work in front of us.